Hey everyone, JCS StarCraft here, bringing you another of the group stage games from Group Stage D, this time between DemusliM and Naniwa. So, action getting started here on Xel'Naga Caverns. DemusliM, the player from the UK, one of the top Terran players and one of the best players in the UK, period. And Naniwa hailing from Sweden, if I remember correctly, and one of the better Warcraft 3 players making his transition over as Protoss to, to StarCraft 2. So, I did broadcast an earlier game of Naniwa versus Hydra. Naniwa did lose, so very important for him to try to win this match. In the round of 16, they basically are split into 4 groups, A, B, C, D, and only I think the top 2 from each will advance. They play round robin. They all play each other in best of 3 series. So should be an interesting match to see who's going to move on. From what I know, I'm very curious to see who has won the other matches. Not going to reveal that during the broadcast, but I think every match very crucial for all these players and a really exciting tournament to watch. I think I'm going to go through and just watch all the previous broadcasts, shoutcast as many as I possibly can. These are just the pros, the best of the best, all fighting each other out very early in the StarCraft community. DemusliM now going to scout things out, make sure there's no proxy pylon, but does see that probe coming in. The probe going to come out to try to annoy and do as much damage as possible. But now running around trying to recharge his shields. Pretty standard early level micro for both. Oh, gets a little bit of a hit right there, so gonna drop some HP, but gonna be able to go around until his shields are able to recharge. Those shields kind of recharge at a pretty decent pace, but the other SCV getting some attacks in there. Meanwhile, DemusliM going to be able to scout out what Naniwa is up to. Naniwa throwing down a pretty standard 12 gate. Looks like it's going to be a 13 assimilator, so we will be seeing those stalkers out on the field. Might be saving up for the stalker. DemusliM, really standard play as well. We haven't seen too much craziness. I did see Naniwa, of course, try to go and try to contain Hydra as much as possible. I thought that was a very good strategy for Naniwa to take, considering that he was heavily outmassed in the first game, even though he tried to secure his expansion early. DemusliM now going to be taking that second throwing down a refinery and should be pulling off and trying to cancel it soon, or just leaving it there and canceling it at the last second. Going to be annoying for DemusliM, who is now getting down his cybernetic score. And looking at the play, DemusliM going to be throwing down a tech lab, so we might either be seeing the Marauders coming out with the concussive shells, or might he be going Reapers? I'm not sure if he's going to go Reapers. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be Marauders. Marauder play against the Protoss now, heavily favored. A concussive shell, I assume, is going to be researched pretty soon. I have seen, was it DemusliM? I think it might have been DemusliM or another Terran player really kind of push out early with just a handful of Marauders and Marines to try to get some early harass on his opponent if his opponent is going some sort of 4-gate and catch them off on a timing attack. So should be interesting to see what DemusliM does in this case. Concussive shell now being researched and a Reaper coming out, so all sorts of ground units for DemusliM. A second barracks going down and not taking that second gas yet. So pretty interesting play from DemusliM. We'll see if this works for him. Meanwhile, looking over at Nani, pretty standard play from both sides. I don't think any player really wants to risk too much right now. We might not be seeing any crazy sort of cheese play, but this Reaper going to go out and going to get some scouting done, meeting up and going to hold hands with this SCV. Nope, he's just going to ignore him. SCV, poor little guy, being sent around the map and, you know, just getting ignored all over the place. This probe is holding this Xel'Naga watchtower, so DemusliM going to be running this guy all the way around the map, using trying to hide, I think, behind everything. And look at that, just going to pop into the base, kind of pressure, get some more scouting done and annoy his opponent. Meanwhile, going to be transitioning over to what it looks like, yeah, a heavy ground army. 3 racks is going down right now for DemusliM, and gonna try to psych his opponent out. Here comes that Reaper. Is he gonna even get off 1 kill? That's the big question. Run around, kind of see. Oh, is trapped in by the force field. Great job by Naniwa, and fries the Reaper before it even gets 1 kill. So was able, kind of a more expensive scout at that point, but these the probes were trapped by the force field as well. Naniwa now getting that robotics facility, so 2-gate robo at this point, and going to get some observers out as soon as he can to get some sight to see what his opponent doing. This reactor now, so a whole bunch of ground units for DemusliM, going to be relying on his micro and trying to get those Marauders out to utilize their concussive shell and do as much damage as possible. Looks like he's going to go for a one base all bio. It looks he's going to be pushing in pretty hard with this and trying to just time his attack. His opponent, meanwhile, Naniwa, is going to be taking his expansion at this point. And right now, I'm very curious to see when DemusliM's going to be pushing out. He is massing right now. Looking at the army count, DemusliM slightly ahead, 48 to 50, 45. But will he, with the reactor, going to be pumping out just a ton of units. Let's see where this little SCV is going, sneaking along, trying to gain some sight. Or here comes the observer for Naniwa. Naniwa will be able to see what his opponent is up to, and DemusliM will be pushing out at this point as well. Naniwa does see that there is a pretty sizable ground army coming at him. Both players are going to be advancing upon each other. They're probably going to be meeting in the middle. Poor little SCV was just trying to get a scouting done. Does draw some nice, and is able to survive, can run into the base. So what a lucky little SCV getting in there, not going to survive after the stalker blinks in, and well, yes, they'll get a shot down. So, but that did give DemusliM some sight of what was going to happen. He does see almost everything in Naniwa's base, and now running ahead with this Marauder. I love the way that they run. They're such a big, clunky units. That's the right speed for them. Can they take down this expansion right now? And gonna try to kite as much as possible, using what Terrans, using the advantage of Terrans with that stim pack, you know, but hidden and run, slowing every unit down. So being able to get like picking off some free kills. Oh, a little bit of a miss micro there. Those Marines caught a little bit off guard, but more reinforcements coming from DemusliM. The combat shield is already being researched. A Colossus will be coming out soon for Naniwa, who knows that DemusliM is basically an all-ground army, but is it going to be too late? Too many units coming in here, and that Colossus will be coming out, but not in a very good position. These Marauders will be able to do a ton of damage once that thing pops out. Thermal Lance not yet upgraded, but now just kiting along, taking care of those probes. Naniwa is able to force out DemusliM. DemusliM probably going to be if he can kite around this base, going to be able to take it down with some stim. These units are very low. One shot from the Colossus will take down almost all the Marine units, and they are slowly getting fried. Oh wow, the Nexus only has 41 hit points left. So Naniwa able to barely escape there with that, and is able to get that robo facility down, but did lose a good amount in that battle. Right now has evened out with his opponent, but now the medvacs are in place. MM and M in full force, concussive shell, and DemusliM going to be taking setting up his expansion while he pushes in for this next attack. This is going to make it all the more difficult for Naniwa. Once the medevacs come out, it's tough. It's really tough to hold this off without a significant. Naniwa, I think, really wants to try to get that. Yeah, he is chrono boosting that second Colossus out as soon as possible, trying to reinforce, trying to catch back up. But this little bio ball right here, microed well. Naniwa does see it coming, is trying to prepare for it. Will he have enough right now? And stim running in to everything, takes out the Nexus. Great shot by DemusliM. Knew that was weak coming in, and now the pylon is coming down. Naniwa is going to be forced to one base at this point, and not looking good for Naniwa, as his opponent has established his natural pretty soon. It is going to be transitioning over there while picking off some units right now, using the site of the medevacs to gain the high ground and trying to do the best he can to take out. Doesn't want those Colossus around, kiting away at the Protoss forces. Everything on the ground for Protoss is going to be very prone to getting kited by that, but the Colossus are moving and spraying everything on the ground. Not enough healing time for DemusliM, and just going to pick up his units and retreat as much as possible. Only one Stalker on the ground for Naniwa, and I mean, the anti-Colossus unit, the Vikings, are in the air. This is not going to be looking for. I mean, this is just going to eat up those Colossus. Naniwa trying to balance a composition of Zealots and Stalkers as best as he can to try to take care of the MM and M, but right now things aren't looking very good. A repair going down for the medevac. DemusliM already establishing his expansion. Naniwa trying to gain a good position so that he can push away from his base and be able to defend at some point beyond this like double choke right here. But right now, DemusliM just busy massing up 80 over 69. DemusliM just going to be able to pump out these units even faster, and things aren't looking so great for Naniwa at this point. He does have the right unit composition, but that early push from DemusliM was able to make a big difference. No upgrades yet for DemusliM. Does Naniwa have anything? No, he has not. He's just been trying to keep in the game as much as possible, about to mine out of his main, just because has been so busy mining there with all the units. And this looks like this push should be enough for DemusliM to push in and really wipe it out. Once these Colossus fall, it's going to be almost very, very, very difficult. And just taking free shots from the units right now, kiting away on the bottom, and the Colossus are going to fall down really quickly to the Vikings. Not a good thing for Naniwa, and the units are just going to push in at this point. Without this Colossus as support, everything's just going to fall. Too many medvacs in the air, and I assume we're going to see a GG from Naniwa pretty soon. Everything is kind of pushing in right now. Naniwa unable to defend. GG, and wants to get revenge on that right away. Not very happy to lose. I think go next is the phrase that's uttered. So going to be broadcasting the next game. This is JCS StarCraft, and I'm signing off.